Hey everyone, welcome in. As we get started, please introduce yourself in the chat with your name, where you're from, and how your students' experience at Temple has been so far so we know who's joining us. We'll get started in a couple minutes. Thank you so much for those of you who are introducing yourselves in the chat. Please continue to do that as we move forward. And again, we'll get started in just a second. All right, so we're going to get started. Hello and welcome to the Family Council webinar, Navigating Temple Together, a Q&A for families of first-generation students with the Assistant Director for Students and Community Advocacy. My name is Emily Brown, and I am a graduate intern in the Office for New Student and Family Programs at Temple University. We're so glad that you decided to join us, and we would love to know more about everyone who's joining us today, so please continue to introduce yourselves in the chat. Include your name, where you're joining us from, and how your students' experience at Temple has been so far. We have enabled closed captions for this session, so to view the captions, please click Captions, then select Show Captions. This session will also be recorded, and the slides and links will be shared after today on the Parent and Family Experience portal. Today's panelists are representatives from the Temple Family Council, the Assistant Director for Students and Community Advocacy, and Avery Rosa, a first-generation student at Temple. We will start by having them share a brief introduction of themselves before we move into their presentation. Following their presentation, we'll have a question and answer session for the remainder of our time together.
Shall I start, Emily?
Yeah, that'd be perfect. Thank you.
My name is Rita Baldino, and this is my second year on the Temple Family Council. My granddaughter is a sophomore in the School of Liberal Arts. She's a psychology major, and she's had some bumpy ups and downs, but basically loves Temple and is at a place where she has learned to navigate. And I'm very glad to be here with you all today.
If Stephanie or Cindy want to go next, that'd be wonderful.
I can go next. My name is Cindy Froggatt. I am joining you from Philadelphia, and my son is a freshman in the neuroscience major in the College of Liberal Arts.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Geiter. I'm from Delaware, originally from PA. This is my second year on the Temple Family Council, and my daughter is a sophomore in the College of Liberal Arts, majoring in psychology and minoring in criminal justice. And I look forward to talking with everybody today.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brandy J. Crawford. I am the Assistant Director of Student and Community Advocacy in the Essential Needs Hub, which is housed in Student Affairs, and we are located in the Howard Geddes Student Center. And I'm pleased to be with all of you today.
Hi, everyone. I'm Avery. I'm a senior majoring in biology on the pre-med track. I'm originally from Connecticut, and I'm excited to be here today.
So much for being with us. All right, so we're going to get started with our presentations and our Q&A in just a moment, but there's a few announcements we wanted to share first. First, you've likely noticed that your audio and video are muted. You can see and hear us, but we can't see and hear you. Second, please submit any questions you may have using the Q&A feature. To do that, click the Q&A button to open the window. Type your question into the text field. If you want your question to be anonymous, you can check the Send Anonymously checkbox and then click Send. Your question will not be viewable to the rest of the participants until it has been answered. We will also share helpful links related to the questions that have been asked within the chat, so please make sure to check the chat throughout the panel. We'll do our very best to answer as many questions as we can today, and if we're unable to answer all of the questions, we'll provide contact information at the end for you to follow up with the appropriate campus partner for your specific question. If you have any questions that are unrelated to first-generation student resources or the Temple Family Council, we'll also do our best to assist you with those. So today's webinar is about first-generation college students. If you're wondering what first generation means, it's generally defined as a student who is the first in their family to graduate from a four-year institution. So this would include students whose parents may have earned an associate's degree or attended a two-year college, but did not complete a bachelor's degree. So now we're going to get started with some of our presentations. Rita, if you'd like to unmute and share this, that'd be great.
Emily, can you refresh what I'm sharing at this point?
Yeah, I can do it. So I'd love to share a little bit more about the Temple Family Council, and Rita, if you want to share anything else, that'd be beautiful as well. So the Temple Family Council is a group of diverse, highly dedicated Temple family members who volunteer their time and their knowledge to enhance the Temple student and family experience. So we do have 3 members from the TFC here today to share with you all. And just some of their objectives to highlight them really quick. They contribute to shaping the parent and family experience here at Temple University. They also foster communication between the university and Temple families. They provide strategic input to the university administration regarding different topics and issues of importance to parents and families. And they also, I'm going to just hit on a few main points. They provide mentorship for family members of first-year students. So that's kind of where Rita, Stephanie, and Cindy all fall in today. They're part of the TFC.
And to add to that, the administration of the TFC has been a great place for myself as a parent to land because they do some workshops which enables us to dig in more to what's going on behind the scenes, so then we can be a first person resource at any of the events that families might attend and speak to our own students and our experience of the Temple experience, so that we kind of interface between administration and families who are new and their students are navigating such a large but wonderful school. Sorry, Emily, I forgot that I agreed to do that.
You're totally fine. Don't worry about it.
As you could see, families, we really are a very personable group and hopefully easily accessible on these webinars, so that you can ask your questions and gain your own set of resources as you help your student navigate Temple.
So we're going to have Brandy discuss the Essential Needs Hub a little bit more.
Thank you. I also wanted to share that I am a first-gen student and also an alum of Temple University. So the mission of the Christopher and Julie Barnett, the Essential Needs Hub, is to provide comprehensive, coordinated support to address food insecurity, housing, financial barriers, and other challenges that impact student success. To empower students to feel agency and belonging while also connecting to the Temple and community resources. To ensure that no student has to choose between their essential needs and their education. Next slide. And this is our amazing team at the Essential Needs Hub. You can see our leadership, our full-time staff, and our current student staff at the Essential Needs Hub. Next slide, please. So our students need and they deserve our support. In 2024, a survey of Temple students reported 36% experienced housing insecurity in the past year, 7% experienced homelessness in the past year, 36 experienced food insecurity in the past 30 days, which is why Temple said we need to do something and we need to have a department where all of the students' needs can be met. Temple staff are reporting the significant increases in the Cherry Pantry, visitation of 500 plus students. But let me just share with you, within the last couple of weeks, we have seen over 1,000 students um, experiencing food insecurity. And it was excellent. It was a great feeling, a warming feeling to also have the resources to provide to our students. We request for disability resource accommodations. We have appointments through Tuttleman Counseling Services. We also have emergency aid requests, financial holds on students' accounts, and also concerns with case managers' workloads because of the increase of insecurity that our students are facing. Next slide, please. Okay, so the Essential Needs Hub currently is only in the phase one. So let me back up a little bit and let you know where we are located. We are located in the previous bookstore, which is located in the Howard Geddes Student Center at Temple University. So the school store has moved to Paley Hall, but we are now in this space. So the first phase of the Essential Needs Hub includes resources for students that have access to food, which is our pantry. We have food, hygiene products, and more at the Cherry Pantry for our students. All these things are free. We provide rental subsidy program. We have technology loaners for students, transportation assistance, and emergency aid funds for students. We have a case management and crisis resource department as well. We have case managers. You can make appointments if you need to speak with them. You can return, they assist with returning to campus support for students, faculty communications, and off-campus housing and tenant rights supports. And we have a connection to community benefits, where it's coordinated to city, state, and federal offices. The federal, state, and local benefits enrollments, for example, like SNAP benefits. We also have a 50 seating classroom space. It's reservable by student organizations, also our campus partners. It's posted on our website currently. We aim to have it on 25 Live in the fall of next year, but we have our programming and our workshops in this space right now, and all students are welcome. Next slide, please. Thank you. So looking ahead, what is our phase two going to look like? The phase two, the goal is to have it's going to be open fall 2026. An expanded food pantry. I want you to think of a grocery store. We are going to have a full grocery store in the Essential Needs Hub, where my office currently is, which is the temporary space that will be included in the grocery store. Um, the pantry will also have a test kitchen for food demonstrations. We'll be teaching students how to prepare healthy meals, also to prepare meals with the foods that we have in our pantry. We have a satellite resiliency resource center. It's like the one that is currently exists in the Tuttleman Counseling Center. We have a Zen Den, which is a decompression space where students can come and relax. A lot of our previous location, a lot of our transfer students or commuting students would like to come in and just, relax or sit in between their classes. We have a Maddie's room, which is our autism sensory room, where students and their sensory needs can be regulated. It's a calming space for them as well. We will have clothing resources. Think of a cherry pantry, but for clothing. So just like the food store, it would be a store where you can come in and you can purchase clothing, not purchase, you can get clothing. All things would be for free. Again, we'll host workshops for all students in different programs across the campus. We'll have for our Tuttleman Counseling Center, they'll have Let's Talk program. We'll have immunization clinics. Visiting barbers will come in to cut students' hairs. We'll have career service workshops and finance and budget workshops and much, much more. So stay tuned. Next slide, please. Now it's
Thank you
time
so
for questions.
much.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So it's time for our panelists to answer any of the questions you all have. Please post any questions you have in the Q&A feature that's at the bottom of your screen. I am going to get started. Brandy, thank you so much for sharing all those resources. It's like phenomenal what you are all doing in the Essential Needs Hub, and I'm so happy to get to hear about it and all the resources being offered. I'd love to hear, are there any upcoming initiatives or partnerships that you're especially excited about that families should know about?
Yes, we do have a partnership with No More Secrets, which is supplying our menstrual products for our students. We currently have a vending machine now where students can get menstrual products, but we have an increase of menstrual products there in our storage right now, so students can come at any time. There's no limits. They can get all of their menstrual product needs. There are several different partnerships in our pantry, and we're continuing to make partnerships with the city and federal government as well to provide continued services and increase of services for students.
And then Avery, a quick question for you. Thank you for being with us. Are there any campus resources that have been most helpful to you as a first gen student? And then TFC, feel free to jump in if you have any resources that any of your students have used in the past. We'd love to hear about that as well and how those have benefited them.
Yeah, so as a student throughout my 4 years here, I've used a bunch of the resources on Temple. I've used Cherry Pantry myself. It's very good to just kind of, it's quick and easy to go in there, get some pantry staples, and then take it home for myself. But I've also used the tutoring services that we offer at Temple, the Student Success Center in the library, STEM tutoring for, as well, just because it's more STEM focused. Those have really helped me kind of make sense of my classes and then also take some of the stress away knowing I have a dedicated place to study and get some help as well from other STEM students.
Oh, thank you. And then this is more for Brandy. Are there any common misconceptions about what essential needs means or who can access support in the hub?
Um, I don't know if we've seen any misconceptions as of yet. I think the students come in, even if they don't know exactly what they're coming for, they come and ask. Um, or like, for example, they can make an appointment to come to speak to anyone in the Essential Needs Hub as well. And they can choose anything. Sometimes they'll start with one thing and then we're talking about something totally different. So I think, students come in just with one ask and, they feel comfortable and they'll start asking about different things, and which is perfectly fine because we're able to direct them to where they can go on campus and who they can contact.
Thank you. And then in your conversations with students, what essential needs do you see emerging earliest in the semester versus later on? And again, anyone feel free to jump in and answer that in terms of your students' experience as well, or Avery, your experience.
I can speak for this semester. A lot of students have had some concerns with food insecurity, housing insecurity, being able to pay their balances on their accounts at the university, um, transportation concerns, paying for SEPTA passes to be able to get back and forth to campus or even to get to work. So those are some of the concerns I've seen this semester. And also finding employment. A lot of students have been having some concerns with finding employment this year.
Yes, any of the TFC members or Avery, like, are there any resources that you feel might be more necessary at different points in the semester, or how have you navigated that?
So, Emily, I was just going to say that um, for My son had a couple of issues adjusting to living in a dormitory setting.
Mm.
I'm going to leave it at that. Um, and so I kept encouraging him to go to see the RA and to get some advice, primarily because, I mean, it was really more an issue of my son being concerned about somebody who was um, not getting out, like not getting out of their room and meeting people and things like that, which overall solved a problem. So I've seen them as a great resource, just in getting people settled into a new place.
Thank you. And I know that can emerge pretty early on in the semester as well, but also throughout their time in dorm life. So thank you.
My granddaughter and her roommates had a similar thing, and the RA was great. But I want to piggyback to what Avery said and just congratulate you, Avery, on being able to access resources for yourself. What I found with my granddaughter, other than the RA, reaching out together to the RA, I found that sometimes she just wanted to call home and vent to me as she explored Temple. And don't forget that you, as the parent, are a great resource. They don't necessarily want you to solve their particular problem as they're moving into adulthood, but to be that listening ear so that they can then maybe feel confident. I do wish that my granddaughter would access more outside resources as she's moving more towards adulthood, but she's not really there yet as a sophomore. So I have learned just to listen and not try to solve the problem from 100 miles away. And parents really are a great resource in addition to everything that Temple has to offer. You may be the first one to hear about the problem and be that listening support system for your child.
Can I jump back in and piggyback on what Rita was saying? I think it's really important um, to figure out sort of when you can help them solve a problem and when they need a reminder that they are not going to love everything about their situation, right? That there are positives and negatives. So I try to get my I try to ask my son and other students what they really like first, to balance out what their issues are, but also to remind them that they're not go they couldn't have found a perfect experience. I think there's a lot of pressure on students when they're in high school to find the perfect fit in a college. And they get there, and there are things they like, and there are things they don't like. And then they start thinking, "Oh, should I be transferring?" And they talk to their friends about, right? That, by the way, that's not my son's situation, um, but I hear that a lot. And so I think one thing that can be helpful, especially, so I was a first generation student, um, and it was helpful that my parents didn't immediately try to jump in and fix any kind of issue I had. And that they sort of had that broader perspective, but they never said either, well, then you should just leave that school and go to another school, for instance. Anyway, I've gone on too long. I'll go on mute now.
That was helpful. Thank you.
Um, Speaking from a student's perspective, at least, I what Brandy was saying about like the working with the jobs especially, I have worked since I came to campus 4 years ago. Continue to work. I have 3 jobs right now. So finding work was something that I knew I needed to do, and that's I know a lot of people. One of my jobs is working with the College of Science and Technology, advising office. Students come in to our office all the time with questions about registration, and some of those questions resolve around a financial hold, maybe, or something preventing them from registering. That causes undue stress on them, and that's all stemming from some sort of need that they have they haven't been able to pay a bill off, or they haven't been able to find a job to pay said bill off, or whatever it might be. So having those resources really does help students get out of their mind and have somewhere to just kind of go, that they know they have the support, they know they have the resources, and then that can kind of help in other areas of life as well.
A quick follow-up. Do you have any suggestions like for families who might be helping either first gen or just students in general find jobs? Because I know that is a huge concern for a lot of people right now.
Yeah, I would recommend having your student reach out to their college. Usually within the college themselves, of their school or whatever it may be. There's a bunch of opportunities. That's how I found about it in CST, or the College of Technology. They posted like a little blurb about it and was online, and I just kind of saw it in an email. But reaching out to the college, kind of the first step. There's a bunch of places on campus, a lot of restaurants or like little shops on campus, or maybe 2 minutes off campus of a walk, that are pretty accessible, that are good for students, and they kind of work with their schedules. They know a lot of Temple students are working with them, so they can work within the classes. And then also, we are 5-10 minutes from Center City, where there's a bunch of different restaurants and stores and everything. And because we have a good transportation system within SEPTA, it's pretty easy to get to those places as well. And again, I one of my jobs is off campus, and my employer luckily is very willing to work with me with my changing schedule and kind of my classes. And if I need the flexibility of like, hey, I have an exam coming up or something like that, then they're willing to work with me about that. So it's just about kind of finding something that best fits for your schedule as well.
And I would like to second talking to your department and your college. My son, who's a first year student at Temple, is not currently working, but my daughter is a junior at another college in the area, and that's how she's found her jobs. Absolutely. And keep on encourage them to self advocate and to, don't give up. There are jobs out there.
I just wanted to also add that students can go to career services, and if students have um it just lost me, but they can go to career services, look for other jobs. And if students have work study, that's what I was wanting to say. If they have work study, they can get work study jobs. Just going into different departments on campus, asking if they're hiring. They can do that as well. And it's usually posted on the Temple website. You can look for student worker positions if they would like to get a job on campus.
Thank you all. Another question we received is sometimes students hesitate to ask for help. Do you have any strategies that you can use to make it easier for them to take that first step, either Brandy from your side, or just a parent and family perspective, or Avery from a student perspective as well?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah. Sometimes students hesitate to ask for help. Do you have any strategies you use to make it easier for them to take that first step?
Um, I don't know if this makes it easier, but I do know a lot of first gen students do not like to ask questions, um, or ask for help. And this is something that, I think I've struggled with. I'm in my third time going to college, and my professors and my advisors like reach out, and it's like, I'm gonna figure it out on my own. But it's really, really important to get that connection. It's important to get networking. It's important to let a professor know if you have a question, because if you don't, no one's going to know. Um, and you also don't know the importance of that connection. I'm just going to share. I worked at another university some years ago, and one of the students that I worked with, and I stayed in contact with a couple other students, but one of the students I mentor, she has worked for me at Temple University. She has gone on to go to another department. She's working on her doctorate degree as well right now. So you never know what those connections, can do for you, or in the long run, how you can benefit for those connections. So I always encourage students, talk to your advisors, make relationships with them, make relationships with your professors, with other students, work within your college or your department to get to know people. Um, because you never know the endless possibilities or opportunities you could be making for yourself. And I'm speaking from experience because, you know, I was not that type of person to do that. But once I was able to do that, many doors were open for me.
Brandy, I have a question for you about the advisor part. So, my son has accessed the advisory services in the College of Liberal Arts, but each time he gets a different person. Like he doesn't have one assigned advisor.
Mhm.
Is that typical across the um, university? And in that situation, is there a way for a student to develop that relationship with an advisor? Like, I don't know if they can request a particular person. I don't know.
So it depends on the department because um, some departments they may have, let's say, two or three advisors, and they're for all the students in that department. But as we all know, the amount of students are different in different departments. Some people may be broken down by last names. Maybe it's A through S, and then the other may have S through Z or whatever it is. So it all also depends. But if you are continuing to see an advisor that you're emailing, and you can ask also, is it okay that you are my contact person? Can I continue to email you or come to your office hours and make appointments directly with you because they make me feel comfortable, or we've already been working on these things and I would like to continue my educational plan with you. Just communicating your needs with people, can go a long way as well.
Thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
then I guess, could somebody who spoke on where students can find jobs just repeat any of the main places that students can go to kind of look for those? I know, Brandy, you mentioned the Career Center, which is a wonderful resource. But if anybody else could touch on that one more time, just for those who didn't hear it the first time.
I didn't say this before, but all students can go on Our Connect is also now suitable for them to see employment opportunities, and career services is on there as well. They can also see programming if someone is posting for a job on there.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great. And then for Brandy again, I know you shared so many wonderful resources during your presentation, and I'm so excited to be able to see that and witness that get carried out. What do you find students are most surprised to hear, or what were you maybe most surprised to hear when you heard about the initiative taking off in terms of what the essential needs can help with, or the hub can help with?
What was I most excited about? So I came from a different department, and then I came over to Student Affairs and the Essential Needs Hub. What I'm most excited about is just being a part of this project, one, and also having the opportunity. The Essential Needs Hub is going to be 26,000 square feet. At first, it didn't mean anything to me. That's just like a number, right? Um, but if you see really how large this space is, and we are going to be the only school in the country that has this service, and the magnitude that it's going to be able to provide every service that a student need in one place. That's just amazing. I am excited just to be a part of the process, being a part of the process to build some of these, rooms out, the sensory spaces for students that years ago didn't have opportunity to be in a university setting, to be able to have that opportunity and that chance, and also have supports for them for their retention and for their goals to finish their degrees out. I'm excited to be a part of that process, to also have students, like every student is not the same. Every student should have social capital. They should have their people and their community on campus. to be a part of a department who provides all of those things for the students, even if it's just a place to go to eat my lunch, even if it's a place for just to talk to someone, even if it's a place to meet other students that are like me, that are like-minded. We may not be in the same group together, but I can talk to them to see if I want to be in a student group or if I don't. Or if I'm an introvert, you can meet other introverts because we have those spaces for all of those students. So I'm just excited to be a part of the process. I'm excited to meet, new students. And it's really a joy. And then I meet students as freshmen, I meet students as juniors or seniors, but to also be a part of their journey until they graduate and they come back to say, are you coming to graduation? Am I going to see you at graduation? Um, is really a fulfilling and warm feeling that I look forward to every year. Graduation, I feel like I graduate every year with the student.
And if I could just jump in now, my daughter's not first gen. I'm first gen. However, I went to school more than 30 years ago, and because with all the changes and advancements in technology and just social opportunities, I feel like my daughter is a first gen because there's just so much uncharted territory. Um, and something comes up, you can Google it, you can, try to find it on the website, or I'll go into her portal if she wants to give me access. But I'm excited about the fact that this essential needs hub is currently, but will also continue to be like a one-stop shop. I feel like it's going to be is probably welcoming, but I don't really know enough about it. So I'm so glad to be a part of this call to really be able to learn more and share with my daughter to make sure that she's aware. But I think this is just such an exciting opportunity for the university and for the kids. And I really hope that they take advantage of it because it just sounds so neat. Like you don't know where to go, stop in there and they may be able to get really great advice, really great guidance, and maybe they need a few essentials and they can grab that as well. So I just think what is happening at the university is phenomenal and such a great thing for the students.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Because I wish we would have had that.
If I could also jump in, coming from a first gen student's perspective, I came into Temple and there were like at a certain point there's some things that you don't know if you don't know. Kind of that's kind of what I was thinking. I didn't know some things coming in and then I had to just kind of learn them on the fly. I had to learn them going through it. Things like that, like FAFSA, navigating FAFSA itself, just that's a whole thing in and of itself. But how to talk to professors, how to approach professors, because I've always been a very independent person and that's kind of my personality, but even self-advocacy is something that everyone obviously can work on, and that's a big thing in Temple and college and life in general. So I think it's a good place for students to have a resource to kind of fall back on, say, hey, I don't know what I'm doing, and that's okay. To have that safe space to be able to go into and have someone kind of give you a little bit of help, just not maybe necessarily lead you, but give you a little nudge in the right direction and allow you to be able to develop those skills, but with the safety net of, hey, we're here for you. We're here to help you if you need it. Things like that. And so I think the Essential Needs Hub, I honestly, I wish it was here 4 years ago. And now that I'm graduating, of course, it's like here. So I won't be able to fully appreciate it, but hopefully in 5 years when I'm an alumni and everything like that, I'll be able to look back on it and see, hey, this Essential Needs Hub is supporting students and helping students get through their 4 years here or however long they're here for. So I think it's also a really great thing, Brandy.
Avery,
Avery, can I just pick up?
I'm sorry. I was just going to ask Avery, being that you're a senior, do you, with the people, whether they're your friends or your classmates, peers, do you find that they're aware of the Essential Needs Hub and if they utilize it?
Yeah, so I would say a lot of the people who are more aware of it are those first gen students or those who have needed it. Throughout my 4 years here, I've also kind of learned that the gap between first gen and non first gen students is very wide. I truly didn't appreciate how wide it was, like the knowledge gap before I came or before I started meeting students who were not first gen. So I would say it's more geared towards first gen students, but not only. A lot of my friends, I've talked about like some of the initiatives that are going on or that I've seen around campus or whatever it is, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't even know that was like a thing." Um, so I think just because it's so new, and granted, a lot of my friends are also seniors, so we've kind of all been through most of school without it. It's a little different, but I also working within the college of science technology advising office and everything like that, we're seeing a lot of students come in and we're giving them the resources to the essential needs hub and saying, hey, here's a place for you to go to. And they're like, wow, I didn't even know about that, but thank you. And then they've come back later on for another reason or whatever, and they're like, oh, I went to the one stop and they helped me so much. And so it's kind of been this cycle of knowledge, but now it's like it's growing. It's people are realizing like, hey, this is a place on campus that you can go to even if you do know everything or if you think you know everything at least. So I think it's a mix. I think it's definitely growing as well. So it's always good to see it grow.
So Avery, I have a question for you as well. Um, what is your perspective as a senior on the support you need or you are getting regarding your next step, regarding grad schools or long-term jobs, or what do you feel like you are getting what you need?
I would say so. So I work very closely with the Career Center and the pre-professional health advising and kind of those other offices that help you in long-term thinking. So my ultimate goal is med school. So I've worked closely with PPHA, the pre-professional health advising, and they have been able to make sure that I'm on track for everything, that I have all of my requirements, that I have the strongest application that I can, both professionally, like academically, but also personally with like my personal statement, my activities, things like that. As well as the Career Center. Um, I've gone to them every couple months for my resume just to like bolster it. They can help me with interview prep because I was definitely not as good of a public speaker as I was 4 years ago that I am now. I would say they've helped. I've been able to get free photo shoots, like headshots for professionals school and everything like that. So I mean, it really there's a lot of resources on campus to help you long term, and even after Temple. And then the Career Center, I honestly just learned this a couple weeks ago. I can access the Career Center up to like 5 years after I graduate. And so that's also a really good opportunity for me to use in like the future. Like, hey, I don't know who to go to. Online's really not helping me. I want to actually like meet with somebody to like ask them a question about future, and they're there. So I would say it's very supportive. Temple has a lot of opportunities for you to like use their resources even after you graduate, to make sure that like you're getting the best out of your life.
So could I just make a comment about that 5 year limit? Um, Once you hit that, then you're able to access resources through the alumni office, and that's lifelong, and that's wonderful. Um, Avery, I think what you said earlier about not knowing what you don't know is really important. And that's what seems so amazing about this hub is that it's really one-stop shopping where yes, you can get very important things like food, like clothes, but also that it's well staffed with folks that can support you in other ways. And also, sometimes it just feels like other students are getting things or getting like the idea of how to do stuff faster. And I think if you don't know what you don't know, then where do you start? But having it all in one place, I don't know. What do you think? Does that make sense that like having one place to go is a good idea?
Yeah, I would say so. Kind of like you said, I was talking about that kind of knowledge gap with non first gen students and first gen students. I was well into my sophomore year, and I had first years, like kind of around me and whatever, talking about what they're already kind of doing for med school or what they're thinking like 5 years in advance, things like that. Um, it's again, you don't know what you don't know. Going to the one stop shop, allows you to just kind of ask any quote unquote stupid questions that you might think you have, even though no questions are stupid. So being able to have just a place where even if they can't help you, they can at least direct you to somewhere that they can help you. So having that kind of place of just knowledge and knowing that, like, hey, you're here, we're gonna work together, we'll solve it somehow. Somehow you're gonna get somewhere you need to be. But so yeah, I would say yes is my final answer. That really does help you with anything. It doesn't necessarily have to be one of those kind of essential needs. If you just don't know where to go, that's also a place to go to.
I just wanted to piggyback on some of those things that you had mentioned, Avery, but just about I don't think it matters if you are a first gen or not, because I think so many things have changed with just within the last year. Just talking about financial aid services and the FAFSA process, for students. So we are having a workshop. I believe it's in December, so students can start working on those things now and getting the paperwork they need for that. But also supporting students when they're going through finals week. This is a lot of students' first finals week that's coming up, which increases, um, you know, stress and anxiety for many students. So we will have some support services for those students as well. But Avery, you also talked about how to communicate with your professors and how to send an email to your professors or an advisor. And I think those things are really important. And some people think they're little things, but many students, if they don't know how to do it, they just don't do it. Right. So, having a resource or having someone just to even ask those questions too is really, really important. And I love when students will sit down with them and help them write the email, help them call someone at the university, help them call or leave a message for their professor, and also help them with their thoughts. What is your plan? What are your goals that you want to get out of this meeting, with the professor? Having those conversations, I think, are vital, for students as well.
Thank you all for that discussion. That was really helpful. Another question, we just got a question in the Q&A that says, my son has had trouble connecting and making meaningful connections. Are there any suggestions aside from joining clubs? He's a first year student. So I guess Avery, if you'd like to touch on that from the student perspective, and then if anybody else wants to jump in, that would be wonderful as well.
Yeah. So even though I'm talking to you all right now and I seem kind of outgoing, I'm a very introverted person. I've always been an introverted person. I will forever be an introverted person. So coming in, not knowing anyone, I'm originally from Connecticut, so I didn't know anybody who was coming to Temple, as well. And so being kind of my inside self, I had to actively like force myself to kind of reach out to people. Um, Luckily I was in like 300-person lecture halls, so there's a lot of people to reach out to. Obviously it's kind of intimidating at first. You see all these people around campus, people are already saying like hi to their friends. Even during welcomes week I was kind of already seeing like these big friend groups form, which again was intimidating as well. So I would say just putting yourself out there, as corny as that sounds, it does really work. Turning to the person next to you in lecture and saying hi or whatever it might be, or asking someone in the library like, hey, are you on, like, do you want to study together if you're seeing like the similar kind of topics, things like that. One of my friends that I have been friends with since freshman year was in my or first year was in my basic like bio 101 lecture hall. First day we kind of just sat each other and we talked about like, hey, do you understand what's going on? And she was like, no, and I'm like, I don't either. And we've been friends since then. A lot of my friends I've kind of just met through mutual friends as well, but also just again putting yourself out there. I have joined clubs, and so that I will say that is not something to just kind of like skirt off. It is really helpful. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a sports club. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a very like involved club. You can go like once every couple weeks or whatever. But just having something to kind of look forward to, having something that keep you social. Um, Outside of the classroom as well, because obviously you want to have that balance of social and like academic life. But again, putting yourself out there, turning to the person next to you, just making connections any way you can, whether even if it's over like the stupidest little thing, those are like the best connections that you ever have.
Speaking of stupid little things, something my granddaughter did, and I was just so proud of her. Somebody in her class had a pair of shoes on that she was hankering to purchase. So she just asked her about the shoes. And my husband used to do this kind of thing, like connect over an Eagles hat. Somebody's wearing his team's hat. So, yeah, they're stupid little things, but it's just another little way to put yourself out there. And I just pat her on the back for now she's wearing those shoes.
Thank you, Rita. Okay. And then let's see. What is one misconception families might have about first gen resilience or independence that you wish you could gently correct? It's kind of for anybody who has an opinion on that question.
Could you just repeat that, please?
Yeah. What is one misconception that families might have about first generation resilience or independence that you wish you could gently correct, or just any misconceptions maybe about first generation students?
I guess I can go. So I come from a family where one of my parents didn't go to college at all, and then one of my parents was actually kind of close to finishing, but unfortunately didn't, and had to go to work and everything. But I would say that like a misconception I know about is that all first gen families are the same, and all first gen families like don't support their students. They're like the type of person like, oh, you don't have to go to college, like kind of the quote unquote like lazy type of family or whatever. And it wasn't like that. My parents weren't like gung ho about college, but they also weren't like don't throw your life away kind of thing. It's like we're gonna let you do what you do, but we're also gonna be here for support. So I think a misconception is that all first gen families are the same, and they're not. Every first gen family has their own story. Every background is different. Every family has their own like circumstances, and I think treating all first gen families as the same is very dangerous. Only because some some students may need more support than others. Some students may not have any support at home, whereas some students, even if they're first gen or not, do have support. So I think um, kind of having that case by case basis, um, having some obviously broad strokes, but having that kind of support for one on one type thing is very important just because it allows everyone, regardless of their situation, regardless of the support system they may or may not have, it really does help you create like kind of that individualized atmosphere, but also individualized help.
I also want to add the importance of community and mentorship. Um, Many told me that I wasn't going to finish, or um, I probably wouldn't be getting my third degree. I'm working on my doctorate degree right now. Um, so I think having community, having people, finding your people, right? Um, being feeling comfortable in your environment to continue to want to be there and continue to follow and go for your dreams, I think is really important. And many people may count out first gen students before even seeing them their full potential. And I'm not going to say it's easy for everyone because it's not, but finding community and finding resources and finding people that you can lean on is very important for their overall success.
Yeah, can I add to I don't really know what the misconception is that I'm targeting. But I think especially because of the high cost of a college education now, we need to be very mindful of helping students think through what is a wise investment of their money and where they should look for places to economize, look for ways to economize. But I think it's become a big issue, and I feel like what I've seen is that people are afraid to discuss it. So I'm glad to hear you're having the FAFSA seminar. I think people are a little shy about admitting they need financial aid. And so again, if they can go to the Essential Needs Hub and just say, I'm worried about how I'm going to finance my education next year because my son is expected to pay into his education, by the way. Um, that I think that's a barrier we have to break down to help them understand that they can go and ask about that, and that because so many people need that kind of financial advice now.
Thank you so much. Yeah, unfortunately, we're running out of time. Brandy, did you have something you wanted to say really quick before we close?
I just wanted to normalize, um, even with our students, you are not the only one. You are not the only one that has that question. You're not the only one that may be in need. You're not the only one that needs assistance. And if you take that first step to do that, you may be able to help someone else.
Okay, so as I mentioned, unfortunately, that is all the time we had for today, but very insightful conversation, and thank you for all of our speakers. You will also see their emails and contact information up on the screen, so if you have any follow-up questions, feel free to contact them. In addition, we will also be posting the recording for this session along with the slide deck and any helpful links in the Parent and Family Experience portal shortly for your reference. Lastly, we would also like for you to save the date for our new feature called Owl Talk Family Connection Hour, brought to you from the Office of New Student and Family Programs, where our Temple Family Council will be online for an hour each month to chat and talk with you about the Temple Family experience. This is an informal conversation, and we hope you can join us for our second one on Wednesday, December 3rd from 6 to 7 p.m. And of course, our webinar series, which you're attending today, which will be continuing monthly with a different campus partner featured each month. Thank you again for joining us, and we hope you and your students have a wonderful weekend.